What's going on, everyone? MetalBlade427 here, and I present to you Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Final Mix Remix. In the last episode, Sora explored around Traverse Town and learned a little bit more about the mysterious Keyblade that apparently chose him to be its master. Along the way, after some Scooby-Doo type shenanigans of everyone going in and out of opposite doors, Sora, Donald, and Goofy finally met up, only to be thrown right into the battle and into a boss fight with the guard armor. They beat it, compared missions, and decided to team up, because 3 heads are better than less than 3 heads. Sora is still looking for Riku and Kairi, while Donald and Goofy are searching for the king with the key bearer right close to them. From this point on in the game, we can finally truly begin, because we have a full party and are ready to explore new worlds. Well, not quite yet. We do have a few final things that we need to do in town before we kind of ship out, so to speak. And one of those things I'd have to say is for me to be kind of going over a little bit of Donald and Goofy, because they'll be in our party from here on out, so let's look at some stuff. First off, we have Donald's weapon. He uses stabs and hammers as well. These will increase his magic or offensive abilities, and he has 2 accessories. Goofy uses shields. I don't think you need me to point out that hidden Mickey on the shield. And sometimes they're offensive shields, sometimes they're defensive shields. And he also has 2 accessory slots. As far as items go, Goofy can hold a whole lot more items than Donald. And these are Gummi parts. This is used to make the ship that transports us between worlds. And I may go over them. I'm not too sure yet what I'm going to do with the gummies. I don't really know. I'm not really a big fan of the whole gummy thing, but I'll go over that a little bit later. As far as ability goes, Donald doesn't have anything right now, but Goofy has Rocket. Leap at an airborne enemy and attack with a shield. So this is good for airborne enemies that are really high up, tall enemies. So it's a good idea to slap that on him in the beginning, especially for the next world we're going to. And then Sora, we will give him the dodge roll, and this will never come off of Sora ever for the entire run of the game. Pushing square will cause Sora to roll forward, and thus being able to avoid attacks very easily. In the customization screen, now that we actually have a magic spell, you can see how this works. You can assign the fire spell to any one of the 3 shortcut buttons. Might as well just leave fire on triangle, because square and X are going to be filled up shortly. And as far as customization goes for Donald and Goofy, it's how you set up their computer AI. You don't really control them, the computer does, but there's a few presets, but I like to do things manually. I like making sure the regular attack stays nice and high, so this way he can keep hitting people and building up energy to build up magic points, and everything else is just kind of occasionally to an emergencies. I don't give them items ever, so if I ever do, I'd rather them use it in emergency, because they were stocked full of items before we fought the guard armor. But at every little instant, they just start throwing items around. So I'd rather not waste the items, and I'd rather give them the Sora so I can choose when to use them, rather than the computer just throw them haphazardly. So there's my configurations for them. As far as the journal goes, there was a little cutscene that I did miss when I walked into here, and that is to explain what the Trinities are. But I can do that right now, because there's a Trinity here in the shop. So when I go and look at it, that's no problem. Oh, and in the status screen, so you can actually see what their stats look like. Donald comes to us at level 7. I think he was 6, but he did level up anyway, so not bad. And Goofy is at 9, so I think he is like the highest one out of our group, because Sora is 8. Yep, 7, 8, and 9. So let's go a little bit about them. So Mr. Goofy over here has his first appearance in 1932 in a short film called Mickey's Review. Captain of the Royal Knights, he avoids fighting whenever possible, Mickey's most loyal subject. He set out in the Gummi ship with Donald to find King Mickey. He has joined forces with Sora, obeying Mickey's command to follow the key bearer. Right next to him, we have Donald, whose first appearance was in The Wise Little Hen, another short film, same thing that Goofy's was, not movie, short cartoon, in 1934. Donald is the royal magician, skilled in magic, but can be short-tempered and stubborn. He set out in the Gummi ship with Goofy to find the king. Donald has joined forces with Sora, the key bearer alluded to in the king's letter. So they're following, the king's words to the letter, from the letter, and they will stick with Sora, stick with the Keyblade, through and through. This item right here is the Trinity Mark that I was talking about. You need to have Donald and Goofy in your team in order to activate Trinity Mark. You can only also activate certain Trinity Marks when you have access to them. Right now we can only do blue Trinity Marks, which is the Trinity Jump. There's the red ones, the Trinity Charge, green, which is the Trinity Ladder, yellow, which is the Trinity Push, and white, which is the Trinity Detect. We won't be able to actually access these different Trinity marks until much later in the game after we do certain achievements. But for right now, we can just go over here to this blue Trinity mark and use it. Hitting triangle, we Trinity jump, which teleports us up here to this little ledge. Do not jump off this ledge. There is a chest that is hidden behind Goofy right here that contains a postcard. I don't know how many times I have read online of people saying, I don't know what's up here, I'm just going to leave, and they jump right off, only to happen to notice that chest as they're leaping off. You can get back up here later, but it's not going to be until much, much later once you get certain abilities that you'll have the power to actually get back up there. The next blue Trinity mark, as you see here in the corner, we just did the Trinity jump on, and we got lots of money. So we can use that in order to start stocking up on various items that we're going to need for our adventure. And speaking of which, there's a few other things that I would like to go collect first. There's a few boxes and chests that we couldn't get while going through the storyline beforehand, and I'd like to go get them right now. So let's actually head into the second district, into the hotel. And here we are in the red room. This is the room that Aerith was talking to Donald and Goofy in, and in here is another chest. This has a pretty stone in it. The pretty stone, just like the other pretty stone that we got before, is just selling fodder. You know, you go to the store, you sell it, and you get some money for it, and it can be used then to get whatever it is else that you're getting. So it's a little bit more money in order to have. We're going to need it right now because there's a bunch of things that we're going to need. And there's a chest over there that I really want to get, so I'm going to try something in order to get it. Hold on one second. Let me see if this actually works. Alright, it is possible to do this. What you want to do is you want to come over up here on this ledge, take a running leap, and Sora pulls himself up on this little ledge. Whoa, right here. And then you're going to want to jump on over and tap, tap, to get a Mega Potion. So that is a potion that will heal all members of the party for 30 HP each. So even if they are... Hey, what's Leon doing over here? This is the puppy's home. When the world disappeared, they were torn away from their family and scattered to other worlds. I bet the little guys are terrified. They must be. Sora, I'm counting on you. I guess Leon really wants us to go protect those puppies. Alright, whatever. Anyway, as I was saying, if Donald and Goofy ever become knocked unconscious, you can throw a potion at them, and that'll actually bring them back from, you know, the dazed state that they happen to be in. So that's no problem at all. That's a good thing to have, especially for the next world. Oh, man. It's the problem with this early in the game, and I'm going to go through the Gizmo shop now, whatever. I'm just going to be running through it. There isn't really much here, so yay, Gizmo shop. We'll be back to see all the fun things about this later. The thing about this game is that it is kind of difficult in the beginning. There is not many healing items at your disposal, and the enemies can do a lot of damage to you really quickly. So you got to be very, very cautious about how it is that you do stuff in the beginning of the game until you get certain magic spells. Anyway, the ladder has been moved over to the left side here, so now we can actually get up top. And there's some bells and things to do here, but we'll worry about that later. First thing we need to do is we need to run over this way. And there is a door way over here on top of the roofs that go to the third district. And this is actually going to be the little ledge that Donald and Goofy popped out of in their cutscene in the middle of the last episode. And I did miss something in the second district, but over here in the corner, make sure to grab that postcard. Remember, there's 10 of them in all. There's 10 of them in all, or whatever. And that one is number 6, I think we're on. Yeah, sounds about right. There it is. Okay, I knew that there was the chest over here, and this particular chest has a mithril shard, an item used for synthesis. And I keep talking about synthesis items over and over and over again, but it's not going to be a while before we have the ability to synthesize anything. I just really hope that when we finally do have that ability, I'm going to have like tons of different materials, and it's just going to be great, and I'll be able to do anything I want. Alright, clicking that little button right there will unlock our shortcut to the first district, so now we can run to the first and third without having to cut through the second, which will make things very, very, very convenient a little bit later, especially when we make our return trip to Traverse Town. Because even though we're doing a lot of this side stuff right now, you know, just trying to get some chests and everything, There's still some main story that happens while we're here in Traverse Town, but it won't happen until we finish a few worlds first. Alright, so we have 2 pretty stones, so we might as well just go ahead and sell them. They are 100 money each. There we go. We can sell the mithril shards. I just don't want to. All the other shards that we happen to be picking up from the shadows and the soldiers we apparently can't get, or we can't sell, so those are just there. Donald and Goofy have 2 different weapons for them. The Morning Star for Donald is a magic-based one. The Warhammer one is a physical attack-based one. The Smasher for Goofy is an attack-based one, and the Stout Shield is a defense-based one. So it all depends on how you want to play, plus it also depends on how much money you have. I would have liked to have bought them all, because it's nice to have multiple options with you in terms of what good weapons and abilities you have for your guys. So I just bought the ones that I deemed necessary at the time, and now I'm going to go over to Sid's shop and look to see what accessories I can buy, and I can only buy the Protect Chain. But you know what? I will spend the extra 300 money in order to get it, because I'm going to throw that on Donald, because he really needs his defense. If you can look at the his HP is significantly less than Sora and Goofy's, so... Oh, that's right, we got the Brave Warrior from the Guard Armor, so that works for Sora. Let's throw the Protect Chain onto Donald. Yeah, it raises his defense by 1. Good, I like it. And we go from Mage Staff to the Morning Star. And of course, it's a star. Why not? Can also be used for physical attack. So at least his strength does go up a little bit, even though it's not really necessary. Donald is all about the magic. And then here you go, the Stout Shield. The other shield would have been the same size as the Night Shield, so a small little circle. Whereas because this one's bigger, it adds more defense to Goofy. Let's head over. I'm going to touch this really quickly in order to regain that little bit of health, because when I put on the Brave Warrior, Sora's health went up a little bit. So might as well have full health, right? And that's going to pretty much be it. Let us go out the main door. We will dodge roll ourselves out there. If you're familiar with Legend of Zelda, that's kind of how you always move. And we're going to head up to our Gummi ship. The green cursor shows your current position. Select your next destination with the cursor. Observe the battle level when selecting destinations. I probably should try to do a Chippendale voice, but whatever. More stars means stronger Heartless in that world. So, okay, so you see the little green thing, that's where we are. You can see the battle level has 2 stars there, and then 1 star there. So, obviously we're going to follow the path that it wants us to choose. You can go any way you want, but I'm going to go up, and we're going to fly to that particular planet. We travel to different worlds on the Gummi ship. The Heartless ships often give us a hard time. Always be on the lookout during flight. Your journey will be documented until you reach your destination. Seek out the mission each world has to offer. Yeah, no, I'm not doing any of the missions for the Gummies, if I don't have to. Control the Gummi ship with the left stick. So, you're gonna use the left stick on the control pad in order to move the Gummi stick. Up to descend, down to ascend. It's flight controls, because you're in, a ship. And then rather than using Donald's voice, in the bottom right corner you have a few different gauges. The blue gauge is your power, that's for firing lasers and everything. We don't really have any lasers. We have a gun, but we don't have lasers. Green, which is armor, of course, is HP. As we take damage, that will go down, and if it hits 0, there is no game over. We just go back to whatever planet that we were at previously. So you don't have to really worry out too much about getting a game over while flying around in the Gummi ship. And this is pretty much all it is. This is almost like a rail shooter game of sorts. You get to move around the cursor, which moves around the Gummi ship. You want to avoid touching virtually everything, or else, as you can see in the bottom right, my armor so far is going down. And as we go through, we're going to be collecting various things. You'll see on the right side, there's a list of stuff that we can get through. The first thing are Heartless ships. All these ships that we're destroying are all enemies, so it shows you how many we are destroying. The next one, I believe, are how many objects we've destroyed. The one after that is shield refills. The one after that is health refills. No, sorry, the blue one is energy refilled. The green one is health refilled. And then the little circle thing is shield refilled. We don't have a shield yet, so it doesn't really even matter. And then the star will refill all of your gauges. Those are kind of rare to come about, but you'll see them as we go through different paths and whatnot. The weird little blue diamond things are other gummies. As you destroy ships and destroy objects, they will drop. So you can use those gummies in order to customize the ship, make it bigger, make it better, make it stronger, and all that other fun stuff. And then the very last thing are blueprints. Sometimes an enemy ship will drop a blueprint, and that'll go into your like gummy ship station docking bay thing. And if you have the right amount of components for it, you can actually make an enemy ship and fly in an enemy ship. There is an achievement in this game for collecting all of the gummy blueprints, and that will probably be the only one I never get because it is just ridiculously hard, and I don't have the patience for it. Alright, so we have finished our flight. We are now observing our first world. Let us disembark and see about this new place. We fall down the rabbit hole into the whimsical world of Wonderland. Goofy. Look at you. Yep, that's why you can't get too relaxed, Goof.
Oh, my fur and whiskers! I'm late! Oh dear! I'm here! I should be there! Oh, I'm late! Oh, the queen! She'll have my head for sure!
Well, okay then. That was an interesting little opening to our first world. So, yeah, as I said before, we fell down the rabbit hole, and if you look up, it just kind of goes up and up and up. Wonderland has always been a very unusual place, so you're going to see all kinds of strange things all over the walls and whatnot. Trying to look for hidden Mickeys, and even though those three, what are those, dandelions, I guess they are, or maybe look like a hidden Mickey, I probably wouldn't say it, because any three circles could look like a Mickey. And there's also a green trinity right there, so that's something that we will have to cover. There's a lot of stuff that we need to come back to Wonderland in order to get. That was a lot of doors. Oh boy. Alright, so he went into that door. What happened? How did he get... He was big before, and now he was small. What happened? Maybe if we check the door.
How did he get so small?
No, you're simply too big.
That cracks!
Must you be so loud? You woke me up.
Good morning.
Good night. I need a bit more sleep.
Wait, what do we have to do to grow small?
Why don't you try the bottle? Over there.
Well, that was convenient. Now that we have this table here with some bottles on it to grow small, we need to move this bed over to the side in order for us to be able to access where we need to go. And I think there was something else here, but it may be on another one of those return visits. So, whatever. Drink the blue bottle to grow small. Yes, grow small. That's the main theme of this right now. Alright, so by Sora being the only one that drinks this, it activated all of us in order to shrink, so that's pretty convenient. And if you want to shrink big, I guess, whatever, you would get the drink the red one. And now we have some new enemies here. These red guys flying around are Red Nocturne Heartless. 24 to 60 HP, 1 to 60 experience. They drop MP balls, Munny, Ether, Blaze Shard, and a Fire Ring, a very small chance. Red Nocturnes are spellcasting Heartless. While hovering about, they attack by casting fire. Having low HP, they keep their distance from their opponents, making them difficult to attack. They absorb fire attacks. Do not be firing off your magic against them, or else they will power up per se, so their spell would then probably go from fire to a fire attack, and then you just kind of have to jump at them and do some air combos in order to take them down. The MP balls that they release are going to be things that you will use to refill your magic. There's also a green trinity mark right over there, and I will explain what exactly the magic does momentarily, but first we have the doorknob over here. All these characters from Alice in Wonderland appeared in the 1951 movie. Doorknob is a talking doorknob in the door to Wonderland. To enter, you must turn him, and one good turn deserves another, as he would say. Alright, so now that that journal entry is done, as you can see, as I'm fighting these red nocturnes, they drop these little bubbles. Those are the MP balls. And what it does is, instead of you getting back a full MP, it goes towards a scale. If you look at my MP on the right there, you can see this like yellow line start to fill up. Once that reaches as far as it possibly can go in my MP range, that grants me another MP in order to cast a spell with. This fills up by me either hitting enemies or collecting MP balls. If I am in need of MP, like if I have 0 and I touch a save point, all it'll do is just fill up the blue portions and kind of get rid of whatever is there in the yellow. So touching a save point will not increase the yellow portions of your MP.
Court is now in session.
I'm on trial? But why?
Her Majesty, the Queen of Hearts, presiding.
This girl is the culprit. There's no doubt about it. And the reason is because I say so, that's why.
That is so unfair.
Well, have you anything to say in your defense?
Of course. I've done absolutely nothing wrong. You may be queen, but I'm afraid that doesn't give you the right to be so mean.
Silence! You dare defy me?
Hey guys, we should help her out.
We're outsiders, so wouldn't that be muddling? Oh, yeah. And that's against the rules.
The court finds the defendant guilty as charged for the crimes of assault and attempted theft of my heart. Off with her head!
No! Oh, please!
Hold it right there!
Who are you? How dare you interfere with my court?
Excuse me, but we know who the real culprit is.
Uh-huh. It's the Heartless.
Anyway, she's not the one you're looking for.
That's nonsense. Have you any proof?
Bring me evidence of Alice's innocence. Ooh. Fail, and it's off with all of your heads. Gather as much or as little evidence as you please. Report back here once you're ready. Alright, well, I hope I explained the MP stuff well enough, but otherwise that, just kind of watch me run along. Anyway, here we are in Wonderland, the Queen's Court. This is all based off of the Alice in Wonderland movie, as I said, which was in 1951, and there's a lot of characters here that appeared there as well. Right up here we have the funny little white rabbit. We saw him earlier running around in his very disorganized way. Before you sits Her Royal Majesty... Oh, whatever. Sorry, I didn't read it fast enough. But I can read the journal entry. Loyal servant to the Queen of Hearts. He led Sora and his friends to the Queen of Hearts castle. That's literally it. That is the entire journal entry for the White Rabbit. We're not at the castle, we're in her courtyard. The Queen of Hearts herself, a Queen of Wonderland who lives in a castle with decks of card soldiers. Selfish and short-tempered, she beheads anyone who crosses her. She thinks Alice tried to steal her heart. So now we have a little bit of conversation here between Sora and Alice. They're going to just kind of go back and forth and do some introductions and everything. This is going to take a while, so read them as you see fit, but I'm going to read her journal entry. Alice, a girl who fell down a rabbit hole into Wonderland. She often daydreams and is naturally curious. Falsely accused of trying to steal the Queen's heart, she was given an unfair trial and falsely convicted. Which is kind of where we come into play here in order to try to get her out of this particular jam. So I like this part of the conversation because she talks about the fact that she doesn't know how she got here, and Sora's like, hey, you're from another world. And Goofy's, that's funny, maybe you don't need a ship then. And poor Donald is just, I don't get it. That way to add in your 2 cents to the conversation, Donald. Good work. And of course she has no idea what we're talking about, and the poor cards are all like, don't talk to her, I'm her guard, go away. The card soldiers come in two different types, spades and hearts. You can even tell just by their mouths. The mouths look like a spade on the spade and hearts on the hearts. The spade soldiers carry axes, and the heart soldiers carry spears. And you just be looking around, they're all different suits and everything along the ways. I'm sure that there may be club and diamond soldiers too, but for right now we just see spades and hearts. So I don't know how there can be decks and decks of only two types of suits. Maybe there's a lot more that we just don't happen to see. And I mean to talk to Alice again right there. Really don't want to talk to her. I want to see what this guy has to say. Do not speak to the defendant. So, there we go. Awesome. Very nice. Get a little bit of look-see. There she is. Of course, she is from the movie. And, yeah, now we just have to go and kind of find out what we need to do in order to help her. Otherwise, she'll be stuck in that cage. But I think we'll be pretty good for that right here. We did a lot in Traverse Town. We explored a little bit of this new town, or this new area. There's a few chests up here. There's one there. I know that there's one up there, and there's one way over that way. We'll be able to get that one later, but not until much later at the end of the level. So let's touch this. Boom. We got MP and health back. Everybody's back up to full strength. And in the next episode, we will go through the Lotus Forest, which is the bigger area to explore here in Wonderland, in order to go find the pieces of evidence we need in order to save Alice from a possible beheading, because nobody wants to lose their head. I believe there was even a random thing within her conversation where she says, if I lose my head, then how will the food reach my stomach? And it's like, really, Alice? That's your main priority right now? Like, seriously? You're gonna lose your head. Whatever. Thank you all for watching. Please rate and comment down below, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can get equipped with me, Metal Blade 427. Until next time, everyone, where we need to go and find some ways to save Miss Alice, you all have a good one. I will catch you all later.